How significant is the fact that Russia is now going back on this important deal? And just explain why this deal was so important.
So the deal is vitally important to Ukraine because of its economy, and it's vitally important to really tortured places in the world like Somalia and Libya and many other places in Africa. For example, just the 170 ships at sea at the minute that are going to be caught up by this Russian change of direction will carry enough food for 7 million people for a while. So the first reason this really matters is that at stake is the welfare of millions of people in parts of the world that are nothing to do, frankly, with this war.
And just talk to us about the concept of this fictitious terror attack, because there was a Russian naval base that was hit by a drone attack. Do you think that was the Russians that did it? And then they're saying that it was Ukraine that did it, which gives them the excuse for pulling out of this deal.
So it's really very, very difficult to be sure. The video footage shows ships being attacked by drones that fly, and also reports of maritime drones that travel on or under the water. Whether Russia would really do that to itself, it isn't clear. It has done it in the past. But we've also seen Ukraine being capable of attacking targets in Crimea, and this is the naval base in Crimea, because let's be absolutely clear that the ships in the Black Sea Fleet that are attacked carry the caliber cruise missiles that are being used to target, amongst other things, the Ukrainian electrical infrastructure.
So it could be the Ukrainians?
It could be, or it could be the Russians. But I think it's better to see this in the context of the three things that are going on right now in this war. First of all, on the battlefield, as the war goes into the winter after 7 or 8 very, very difficult months, both sides are struggling to make headway, and both sides are facing what looks to me to be a very long, drawn-out war well into next year and probably beyond. Secondly, Russia is doing everything it can to weaken the will of the Ukrainian people to continue the fighting, principally by bearing down on their electricity supply in the winter. And the third thing, and this is where the grain issue really comes in, is Russia is now doing everything it can to try and deplete the will, particularly of Western powers, to continue to support Ukraine by making our lives difficult. And it's very interesting that in this attack, Russia cited help from British specialists to do it, which is clearly ridiculous, but is an indication of how Russia's eye is turning to the supporters of Ukraine. And we shouldn't be surprised if we too get a bit of a tough time, whether it's in cyberspace or electricity generation or whatever it is, in the coming weeks and months.
And that very much follows on from the kind of ridiculous but very serious allegations made yesterday from the Russian Ministry of Defence, saying that it was the British Navy that had destroyed the Nord Stream gas pipeline. I mean, should Britain be worried about this escalation in claims against us?
Yes, we should, because we can be absolutely clear the story is nonsense. The British Navy did not disrupt or the pipeline that supplies in normal times gas from Russia to Germany. Of course we didn't. But when Russia says things like this, it's not because it's just made them up, and they have just made them up. It's usually because it's going to justify something that happens now, and that might be more cyber interference in our infrastructure, citing the pipeline attack as justification. It might be the interruption of the gas supply from Norway, about which there has been some loose chatter. So we should take notice of what Russia says, not because it's true, but because of what it might herald happening next.
Right, I see what you mean. So it could be pitch rolling for something to come down the track. That's really interesting. And Sir Richard, while I've got you, so I just wanted to get your view on how serious you would be from a security point of view about these allegations that Liz Truss's phone was hacked by people close to Russia and President Putin while she was Foreign Secretary.
So first of all, no government minister, no official, frankly, no one who has a sensitive role in the commercial world should in these days be in any doubt at all that your personal mobile phone is a complete liability. If you put it in the wrong place, if you use it in the wrong way, of course it can be hacked. And if you are the Foreign Secretary or the Defence Secretary or indeed any government minister, your personal mobile will be of great interest to the intelligence services of powers that only wish us harm. And there are several of those. So it can come as no surprise that the phone was hacked. And this is why ministers and officials and others should not use their personal mobiles for official business. They should assume their personal mobiles are in jeopardy.